Hi everyone, my name is Ethan and I am part of FTC Team Alpha Genesis 6436. Today, I'll be giving some basic demonstrations and instructions on how to use LEGO Mindstorm's EV3 programming. So, when you're opening up a new program, you are greeted with a start block along with a bunch of different buttons. Let's first look at this top section here. You have a select key, a drag and click and drag feature, a comment button, ability to save your program, undoing and redoing your last input, and all your zoom features. Now let's move our attention to this bottom tab section. In each one of these tabs, there are different blocks for programming for different necessities. Today, we'll be focusing on this green tab, which deals with the action or how we want motors to move. We will split this up through this green tab into three main sections: singular motor movement, double motor movement, and the characteristics of the brick. To begin with, let's look at the first two blocks, which deal with singular motor movement and the medium motors and the large motors. These blocks are virtually the same, except it depends on which motor you're using. So, let's use the medium motor block. As you can see, there's a letter at the top, which corresponds to the port your motor is plugged into. You can check which port your motor is plugged into at this bottom port view section. Next, let's look about how we want to actually program our motor. In this section, you can see how we actually want our motor to run. In the motor, we can either have it constantly off, constantly on, or on for a certain amount of seconds, degrees, or rotations. For basic demonstration purposes, we will have it on for rotations. Next is the power. The power deals with the speed we want the motor to spin at. The higher the power, the higher the speed, and the lower the power, the lower the speed. Next is how long we actually want the motor to spin for. Because it is based off rotations, it's how many times the motor spins. So, if we want the motor to spin 3 times, we will put a third value in there. One thing to keep in mind with power and rotations is that if you change it to a negative value, we will actually have the motor spin in the opposite direction. So, at this moment, if I play this program, the medium motor will spin at a negative 3 rotations at 56% speed. Next is double motor movement, which deals with move steering or move tank. They are similar to the singular motor movement, but now deal with 2 motors, as you can see from the 2 ports. Let's first look at the move steering block. With move steering, if you set the direction to 0, it will move both motors at the same speed at 1 for 1 rotation. But the special thing about move steering is that in this area, you can actually change the direction you want your motors to spin at. So, if you want your robot to turn at a clean 90-degree angle, you set 90 here and the robot will turn. One thing to keep in mind while turning though is that the robot will move forward, which does not occur in this next block, move tank. With move tank, you can set the exact speed for the different motors. So, by setting one motor to negative, you can have the robot turn in place. This allows for more exact and precise movement. This leads to me personally thinking that move tank is a better option when you're trying to turn, as it allows for more versatility and more precise movements. Finally, we have our last 3 blocks. They deal with the characteristics of the brick. They display something on the screen, make sounds with the brick, or change the brick status light. With these blocks, you want to have more fun with them as they don't really change up your program much. For example, with the sound block, you can add audio files into your program to create funny noises, which add to the amusement of your robot. Overall, these basic blocks deal with the simple movement of EV3 robots, and even in advanced programs will still be needed to make your robot function. These deal with the fundamentals of EV3 programming and can be even used in FLL. FLL deals with the competition using EV3 and allows for greater knowledge into programming and building. If this sounds interesting to you, I would highly recommend you join. Overall, I hope you enjoyed this basic tutorial that we created and are looking forward to creating more in the future.